What up, dog?
What's going on? Wet, wild, and wonderful people.
New Hampshire in the wet.
Mostly wet.
Lobsters.
Mostly wet people. Take
Lobsters
that
like
however
being
you
wet,
feel.
though, so it's understandable.
Damn, I didn't even think about that. But they're used to being wet and salty.
Yeah.
And I think it was plenty salty when the rain started coming down on Twitter, at least. So there was some salt in the air.
I was one of those salty people.
I ended up salty at the very end. But
is that your hack of the week?
Oh, you know it. I'll get there.
Hack of the week in the first 30 seconds.
In the first 30 seconds. But that's probably the most fired up I've been in a minute. But no, it was hell of a Sunday race, man. I just didn't see any of it coming. It was a lot of fun. I actually didn't even see the race coming, technically. I was, I guess, salty at the very beginning and the very end of the race.
Yeah, see, I thought this could also be your hack of the week.
This was also my hack of the week. It's my back hack of the week. But I'll just go ahead and go into this one since it's not my hack of the week. It's my back hack. We're doing it, I guess, what is this? A minute and 10 seconds into the pod. But this is how my Sunday race experience started. So, as everybody knows, me and Allison, we just moved into our house. And we're still getting used to this place. It's smaller than what you'd expect. It's smaller than we even expected to find, but as home prices go now, I mean, we just kind of had to make some concessions somewhere. So we have about 950-something square feet. And we had, even after the fire, about 1,500 square feet's worth of stuff. So we're trying to figure out where to put everything and how to organize this place. We're already about to sell our couch because it's too big. All that good stuff.
The new couch is getting sold?
Yeah, it's just too big for the damn room, man. You can't walk around it. You kind of have to side shuffle in certain spots. So it's we're just going to get rid of that because we can still get some good money out of it. And probably the couch we're going to buy, because it's smaller, will be about worth what this new couch is going to sell for. So we could probably just do an even trade and get something better for us. But
you should let me know about this couch situation because me and Lindsay are wanting to get one of the connecting couches.
Ooh. Damn. If you want it, I'll just bring it down to Georgia.
I didn't know about this.
Damn.
This is live news.
I need to post this shit on Facebook now. Just get it on Facebook Marketplace and drive up the price. If anybody out there is listening, I got a couch for sale.
Yeah.
Shoot me your best offer.
Yeah.
Shoot me your best offer.
Lindsay had this furniture in our house, and the furniture is Lazy Boy, name brand, all the stuff. I mean, you've seen the couches, whatever. Yeah. But sitting on the couches is not they're not the comfiest, I don't know. They're not, you can't even really lay on them. They're just I feel like the couches are more for looks than they were
yeah, they're for seating. They're for sitting down on.
Yeah, they're more for looks than they are the actual purpose of them. And I've sat on your couch. I've slept on that couch.
You've slept on my couch. I have slept on my couch.
I like that couch. So
damn, man, made a sale today. Raised Rowdy Racing. We're gonna turn into the John Claywolf show. Give me the VIN.com. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, we've talked about getting one of the L-shaped couches to, have. So that'd be cool. I didn't know that was a thing. So
all right,
we can talk about
that after the pod. My hack of the week next week is going to be Dawson when he lowballs me on this couch. He'll give me $5.
I have $3.
I have $3. So anyway,
are you already out of your first beer? If so, you got to get another one. You got to get it.
Don't worry, I got them reloaded. Don't worry, I got two more ready to go here. This is a drinking pod. We're going back to season 1.
There we go.
Going back to season 1, Raised Rowdy Racing. You got me drinking. I had to pick up 30 boxes of merch earlier for Travis on the road. So I've already done my hard work for the day. Usually we're doing this at 10 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had myself convinced that it's not a good idea to drink that early.
10 o'clock in the afternoon? You mean 10 o'clock in the morning?
Man, maybe I should slow down. Anyways, so to get back to my story about how pissed off I am about the start of this race, as I was saying, we're trying to figure out where to put everything. Well, we had originally put our bedroom on one side of the hallway, and I was recording and doing all my NASCAR stuff was going to go in the room across. Well, we've since decided to flop those rooms, which I'm all for, but that turns into a whole weekend of getting stuff out of one room into another room. We're building some shelves for the kitchen. We are hanging stuff. We are cleaning some stuff up, cutting shelves up. I mean, we're doing a whole bunch of different things. So all weekend, we've been working on all this, and I've been watching my NASCAR iCalendar that I've downloaded from the internet to see when the races are starting. So I have not been on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, hardly at all week and all weekend because we've been doing all this work. So I saw on the iCalendar it said 1:30 start time. But nowhere in my entire weekend had it ever been told or come across my radar that this race had been moved up by 30 minutes. So it was 1:33, and I knew, okay, I have a little bit of leeway. They're probably going to talk a little bit before the green flag flies. Well, at 1:33, I turn on YouTube TV, get ready to have the race on while we continue working, and they are already 17 laps to the end of stage 1. And I was just confused. I was like, what the hell happened? Like, it's only been going for 3 minutes. We're already 58 laps into this race. Like, what's going on?
IndyCar speeds.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap. And at first, I thought that we were only 17 laps in. It made a little more sense, but still, I was surprised.
Yeah,
and then
your
I realized
original
we're
text,
almost 60 laps into this.
Yeah, you had it backwards. It was like 17 to go. You thought it was 17, like, in or whatever.
Completed laps, yeah. So I texted Dawson, I was like, what the heck happened? Did they start this thing earlier or what? Like, I'm confused. Why are they already this far in? He's like, oh, they announced it like yesterday that they're going to start at 30 minutes early. And I was like, well, they didn't tell me shit because I even sent him a screenshot of the iCalendar that still said 1:30 p.m. So I have a big bone to pick with NASCAR, and I put it on Twitter, and Randy Adams liked it and reposted it. But I put it up on damn Twitter. And I said, NASCAR, we got to get this thing figured out because last week, Iowa, it said that it was supposed to start at midnight Saturday night.
It changed twice. It went from 3:30 to midnight to the original whatever. It was then, or I don't even know if it said that, but then it actually started at whatever 6 or 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't even think they ever put the accurate start time in all of
last
weekend.
That one was all messed up.
Yeah.
Neither one of us even knew the race was a night race until like the day before or something.
And even Door Bumper Clear was talking about it. And now this week you go on, I start watching when I thought it was supposed to start.
He has the calendar too. I love that his was, I guess everybody's was, but I love that Brett has the iCalendar downloaded.
Exactly. I literally live by that thing. If that thing tells me that the race is starting at 2 o'clock in the morning, well, by God, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to have a beer in my hand ready to turn on NBC or USA.
Yeah.
So when it said 1:30, I was on at 1:30 ready to rock, and I missed the whole first stage, had to back it on up, re-catch up, and once again, I was watching a race from behind unintentionally because of the way the scheduling all worked out, and they just didn't announce it. So I was pissed for like the first stage, and I finally let it go once I finally got to live. But it was like the end of stage 2 by the time I caught up.
Yeah, NASCAR has a rule, and I think this rule's been in place for a good while, and they don't really use it that often, so that could be one of the reasons why it's not, other than like you seen it on Twitter and stuff. But they can change a race within 1 hour of the original start time if they announce it within 24 hours before the race was supposed to start.
Well, they must have just shouted it in the parking lot because I still never saw anything about them announcing it.
Yeah, like I said,
online.
I just saw it yesterday or Saturday, whatever day it was, when the same old Bobs and Jeffs and whoever all post that it was on there. If I would have known you didn't see it, I would have said something to you, but I had no idea.
Yeah, just never came across. But either way, I mean, ended up getting on there. But I caught up, saw pretty much the whole race. I only skipped like a couple minor things in stage 2. If I had known there'd been a rain delay, I would have just let it play out. But I'd have probably caught right up right on time. But it was just what it was.
This is one of the weekends I got to watch every single lap of Xfinity and Cup, which I enjoyed. The Busch race to me, Xfinity race to me, was like not great. And then at the end, it became like a wreck fest and all kind of stuff. But then they had all that strategy. And like I said, I was calling you. I was like, here we go. Like our dudes, we had a 2 top 5 bets going. I was like, they were running like first and sixth.
Yeah, we had.
I was like, this is perfect.
Bonsignor and Quapple to finish top 5, and they were almost doing it.
My favorite thing is the Bonsignor. He says,
my favorite thing is listening to you try to pronounce his name. It's really
I have
funny.
a hard time with the dude's name. I'll be honest, and this is how out of the loop I am with modified racing. I never even heard of the guy. And then I saw, like I said, told you, I saw his stats and stuff. And then I went and looked up that he was in a Joe Gibbs car, and I was like, This is good. This is a good deal here. I like this. I had thought already. I was like, he's gonna have problems on pit road, and about every single pit stop, he lost about 3 spots. But he just did not have the experience.
Yeah.
One of the times he went on pit road, he came down pit road dirt track, and it completely sideways off the racetrack. I mean, it was pretty sick. He didn't wreck. It was just like coming off the track completely sideways. It was pretty badass.
Yeah, but, I'm pretty sure they do non-competitives, or if they even stop.
I don't even know if they have to. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't watch a whole lot of modified racing.
I used to watch them when YouTube TV would randomly pick them up and record them for me.
Yeah.
But it hasn't done that in a minute.
Yeah. Man, though, that wreck with it was Sammy Smith and Sam Mayer just acting like boneheads. This was kind of this could be my hack of the week, possibly. I haven't made my final decision yet, but I was just so
full of hacks.
Yeah, I was so mad. I was pissed. I was on the phone with you when it happened.
Yeah,
actually.
you were calling me, literally trying to tell me that they were doing good. And by the time I answered the phone, they had already wrecked, and it was screwed.
I was so pissed because what kind of horse shit? I mean, the 19 was already like on the yellow line. Sammy Smith is underneath him, and then Sam Mayer goes to the inside wall. And me and Caleb are on top of the Seabell Hate Club page. We also have a Sam Mayer Hate Club page for sure.
So he gets that page gets more and more my favorite every single day.
Yeah, Sam Mayer is just not on our list of favorite guys, but what a boneheaded move to go all the way to the wall, wash up, hit your teammate, and your teammate hits the guy, that's coming into this series, kicking all of y'all's asses. And he actually won the modified race earlier that day. That morning, he won on Saturday morning.
So he's literally walking in there with bravado.
Yeah, it was just stupid. So stupid. What I was getting at, though, my favorite thing about that specific thing was he was like, on the radio, he was like, did I do anything wrong? And someone is like, nope, that's just this series. And it's like, damn.
Which just tells you everything you got to know. Like, people are literally calling him out and saying, nah, this series, it's just how people race down here. It's like, yeah, because 90% of the time, these guys are pay-to-players, and they're just going down there. They don't care whose day they ruin.
The two that we're talking about specifically are hardcore pay-to-play guys.
Yeah, and it's like, I always hate to say that because, like, just because you have money, like, let's see you actually perform first. If you have the talent to stick around, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
But if you come in there and you just start wrecking people, and then we got Sam Mayer announcing to the media he's pissed that he's not getting more attention for these Cup Series rides.
One of the most cringiest interviews I've possibly ever seen.
That dude is a walking cringe factory. Every time he celebrates, even door bumper clear is getting like, I don't know how I feel about that Superman celebration he's got. It's because, it's Sam Mayer.
You brought it up to me first that day, and you said you and Allison watched it, and I had not personally seen it.
Uncomfortable.
I had not seen it.
It made me uncomfortable. And then he's just pointing at the camera and all that to say, I already didn't like the guy. I didn't have a whole lot of things to like about him. And then you call and you tell me stuff like that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, man. And this guy's mad that Cup Series people aren't looking his way. It's like probably because of the things that you say, do, and the way you race on the racetrack, man.
That interview is why he does not have Cup cars knocking on his door.
Yeah, even if I was interested, I would immediately be turned off by that comment. I'd say, oh, really? You think you're entitled? You think that you deserve this ride? I'd back right out right there. I'd say, nope.
Sam Mayer would get his doors blown off in the Cup Series.
Yeah, and you're saying that as a guy who's won races in some of the best equipment in the Xfinity series. Talk to me when you have to drive something like a 51 car to a top 10 like Justin Haley's been doing.
Justin Haley, dude, is... Golly, I hate it. Excuse me there. Not to switch gears on you, but the wreck that screwed Blaney, I hated it just as much for Justin Haley because that's him hitting the nose of the 34 is what screwed him to finish in the 20s because it bent
he was in
he
was in like 6th or 7th when that happened.
He was on the same strategy too, off pure pace, dude. I mean, I don't know what is going on. I don't know, but it is awesome to see. And I was part of me is like, dude, what could Justin Haley do in a top-tier car? But then also part of me, I love how loyal he is in that statement he made last week. And he was like, if it wasn't for Rick Ware and Rick's wife, Linda, he was like, I wouldn't have had a job this year. I would probably be working a 9 to 5 somewhere. And they gave me a chance.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm not gonna screw that up. He's like, if he wants me here, this is where I'm gonna be. And I think as long as they're putting the people and the money into the car, dude, he's gonna squeak out some wins.
Yeah, the way that they've been running, it's kind of unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It's one of the more like wow things I've seen from a car like that in a long time. It reminds me, and TJ Major said this, but it's giving you glimpses of Furniture Row back in the day.
Yeah,
way back.
I
in the
loved
day.
it when he compared that to
because
the
I mean back in
modern
the
Rick
day.
Ware.
Back in the long time ago, like when Kenny Wallace was driving for them in like the early 2000s, they were like a starting park car. And they changed that from a starting park car to, like you said, Regan Smith gets in there, they win a race. Kurt Busch gets in there, they do well. Truex gets in there, that first year's terrible. After that, dude wins a race every 5 races, it seemed like.
Yeah, and gets a championship for him.
Yeah, it gives you glimpses of that when you've been watching Rick Ware run so bad for so long, just with his son and whoever else runs in those cars. It's like, yeah, they just run in the back. And then now DBC's talked about it a lot with the people they've hired over there outside of Justin Haley, but the mechanics and the people and all that. And Justin Haley's a damn good race car driver, clearly. But also want to give a shout out. Kaz Gralla has drove the 15 car way better than the 15 cars ever finished as well. It's not running in the top 10 every week, but it's running way better than it used to.
Yeah. I think
Kaz
has a little bit more growing up to do, but he's getting
15th to a 20th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
They've made huge leaps and bounds, and it's awesome to see it, man.
It is, yeah.
It really is. And he's getting the recognition for it, too. It's not like this is happening quietly. Like, he's getting noticed, and he's getting interviewed on live TV about his performance.
They're showing the car more on television, which is great. Always for
you notice that
like
NBC has been showing a crap load about him, and they're giving him interviews. I never really saw much of him when we were talking Fox, other than us paying attention. They talk about it a little bit here and there.
It's Fox. What can you expect? But it's also been it's not a slow climb. It's been a freaking up like this climb. But obviously, the start of the year to where it is now, like now NBC's picking it up where he's freaking over the past 2 months. His average running position is probably like 12th.
Yeah,
15,
which is
like no kidding.
If that doesn't sound impressive to you, you haven't been watching for very long.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the opposite of a heck of a week. That's like the wow moment of the week.
Yeah,
and every week here recently is like what Justin Haley's been doing in that 51 car.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he's right up there with Corey LaJoie, Daniel Hemrick, and Austin Dillon in the series standings, and that may sound like 3 names. Those are 3 names that are kind of like underperforming this year. And he is overperforming and sitting in their same positions.
The 7 car spent more time facing the wrong direction yesterday than he spent facing the correct direction yesterday.
Especially once the rain came down. Once the rain came down.
Corey LaJoie, man, he is that guy. We talked about it a little bit either last week or the week before last. But he went for this guy that like everyone loved to each week is just becoming the guy that talks like Tarzan, drives like Jane. And it is just more and more funny to watch. And then now some of the spotters are talking about it. People in the industry are talking about it. And then I feel like once the industry people start making those posts is when it's like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are really starting to notice that. I don't know. He's getting outrun by his teammate every single week.
I don't think they'd even have as much to say about it if it wasn't for hosts of ours abilities.
Yeah, he's
and
never
his
had
success that he's got going on.
If before it would just be like, oh, it's Spire, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Now it's like, well, you're getting outrun by your teammate every single week.
Yeah,
you know, and
exactly. There was always an excuse before.
Points,
now
always an excuse. Now there's no excuses. And
we know what your team is capable
so far
of. So
back.
What's going on with you?
Yeah. Rough.
Yeah.
Yesterday, for some big name teams, dude, yesterday was a rough day. RCR, horrible.
Oof.
The 99 car, horrible.
Horrible.
The 7 car, horrible. Both colleague cars, horrible.
Awful.
Those were some of the first 10-ish guys to go a lap down yesterday.
Oh yeah. It was it was really interesting.
That's big
because
names
just
with
like you
big
said, with
sponsorship
all
and
of those
big
guys,
money
just
getting
as many of
outrun.
those big guys that fell super far, some younger teams and worse teams, frankly, or what should be worse teams, succeeded. I mean, you had
I'm
Legacy
talking about
running really good.
I'm talking about before the rain even came too. Like
absolutely,
that was before the rain, and then the rain. I got so pissed yesterday. Not
Me
super
and you
pissed.
differed in opinion on this for sure.
This isn't even about that yet. This is about a post SHR made. SHR made a post about Briscoe and Barry and how good of a day they did. Fucking Ryan Preece went from 30th to 11th. And they didn't even mention the man on the damn socials until later. They made a post later. I saw the post. It was possibly this morning when I saw it. They made a post later about Ryan Preece, but the original post after the race, they got 4 cars. They mentioned 2 of their cars, and the third one finished 11th. Went from 30th to 11th from when the rain started, or from the red flag to end the race. Why the hell did Ryan Preece not get a damn mention on the social media post there?
I guess you got to finish top 10 to get it mentioned. Or top 5
I mean,
to
I
get
guess
mentioned.
so, but golly, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I retweeted it. I was like, just no love for Priest and P11 here.
Yeah, right. Dude, it was a wild day for social media and NASCAR for sure. I wasn't even really on it. I just saw the fallout. I didn't even get a chance to be on it much.
Yeah, I was one of those. I went on one of those days yesterday where I was just tweeting all kind of shit. Because I was originally so mad. And yes, we have different opinions on this, which is totally fine. I just thought, and even like I said, Dale Jr. and everybody else, it's like you waited and waited and waited 30-something minutes. You could have at least tested those rain tires until the rain came. And then, like I said, I posted, I was like, if this race goes the full way and they run these rain tires and give it a shot, I'll take back everything I said. And I stand by that because I was ready to come on here and just be pissed off. And then all that changed when we got to run 80-something laps and they finished the race. And it was on rain tires, and they did what they said they were gonna do with rain tires. So I was like, okay, here we go. I'm back okay again.
See, that's the funny part. Was I was watching all this go on from the outside because I wasn't on Twitter. I was just kind of catching whatever you told me, and I was seeing a couple things get said here and there whenever I got a chance to like get on for just a moment to see if they were going to restart it or not, or if they'd called it. And you were just fired up about it. Like, why the hell are we not putting rain tires on? And I was sitting there the whole time just thinking to myself, if they put rain tires on these cars right now and a rain comes down, like a good hard rain comes down, and everyone wrecks, it's going to immediately put a sour taste in every person in the industry and every fan's mouth about these rain tires. Because as soon as that rain falls down and they can't see, and they can't roll correctly, they're going to wreck like hell, and everybody's going to get pissed when their whole field gets taken out, including their driver. I think NASCAR did exactly what it should have done. I think they handled it absolutely perfectly. I think we just have a bad habit, and it's for very good reason, but a bad habit of always assuming they're making the wrong call before the call has a chance to fully get made. Which it makes total sense because NASCAR has botched a lot of calls in the past 24 years. A lot of them.
24 specifically?
Yeah.
The 24 years specifically?
Yes. These last 24 years, because I don't know much about NASCAR before 2000. I mean, I know a little bit, but I don't know a ton. Most of my knowledge comes from like post 2000. But it's just funny to see everybody immediately reacts and has an opinion before the call is a real good chance to be made. But once they actually got the cars on the track, I think they did it perfectly, because what they were hoping for is we need a controlled situation that we know we're not going to have a crazy number of variables entering it, because we're still not used to these tires. And we've got a lot of different drivers with a lot of different backgrounds, some of which may have experience with these tires and some that don't. So to even this field out, we want to make sure that it's not a random variable that decides the win. It's truly the driver's skill. And I think that's exactly what happened. They waited till all the rain was past, They put cars out on the track with wet weather tires on a damp racetrack that they absolutely could have spent the time to drive, but they wouldn't have been able to finish the race on time if they did that.
Which was,
so
like
it
I
gave
said,
us,
perfect.
yeah, it gave us a chance to watch them race with the rain tires. It gave us a chance to see it on an oval again, and just see how it all shook out without there having to be a rain cloud that is slowly coming at us that could deluge on us at any moment and ruin this entire race. So I think at some point we'll get to the point where they can just let the teams make an audible and just say, look, you better get some practice on racing in the wet at some point. And most of that's going to happen in a race. I agree with whoever it was on the broadcast saying it. We're just not ready yet for that kind of thing to just happen because there's just not enough info, data, or knowledge or ability for a lot of these drivers to do it. Whereas some of these other guys in like IndyCar, F1, or whoever actually races in the rain, IMSA, they grew up and have experience before they reach that professional level of racing in the rain. And you're asking these guys in their professional series to just, hey, we're just going to drop this on you. Learn how to do this now. And it's completely foreign to them. It's just unfair to think that we can do that in a situation where the variables may change all of a sudden in a moment. And now the entire race is ruined just because we wanted to get them racing sooner rather than when the timing would be better.
Yeah, I feel like, so 99% of the time, I've brought this up before, 99% of the time on Twitter, I'm talking to a wall because there, no interaction, just, the way it is. Yesterday, I finally had my random, like 2 a year that pop off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was so glad that people felt the same way because I got a couple followers, a couple likes off of this, but a few thousand people saw it. But dude, Jeff Burton was driving me bonkers yesterday. He was so against. He was not down for rain tire racing. He's just given every single reason why we should not do this. And I was like, Jeff Burton has a flight and a steak dinner that he is trying not to miss, and he is ready to roll. He is ready to get the first flight out of Loudon so fast. He cannot wait, dude. And I was like, I posted, like, Jeff Burton does not want to be here. I was like, if you don't want to be here, just leave. And then like everybody liked and retweeted and all that, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm not the only one that thinks Jeff Burton's like,
That's
fuck
funny.
this. I'm ready to roll.
See, I'm with you. I wanted to see it happen. I wanted them to get back to racing. I don't care if it's on wets, dries, whatever. Just get them back on the damn track. So I wasn't listening during the red flag. I was out there sanding some fucking boards.
My biggest thing was Jeff Burton continued to talk. Like, he continued to talk down upon the whole idea the whole time. And me personally and Kirk, our buddy we met from the Austin San Antonio show that came out, he texted me. He was like, this is where the broadcast is missing Dale Jr. Because Dale Jr. would have been in there hyping this up and like how cool this is. And I was like, holy shit, I could not agree more. Like, you are exactly right. Like, Dale Jr. being here, like, this is awesome, yada, 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 whatever. And then it might have worked well with Jeff Burton. Like, Dale Jr. is going to give you every reason you should do this. Jeff Burton's going to give you every reason you shouldn't. But yesterday, you just kind of had Steve Letarte talking. Rick Allen didn't really give opinion about it, obviously. And then you had Jeff Burton, who's like giving us, the fans, every single reason why they should not do this. And I'm just like, damn, Jeff. Like, if you got to go, dog, we can finish it with Rick and Letarte. Like, it'll be fine.
That's so funny. But I had to move over because the sun's baking me from this window I just moved in front of. But no, that's hilarious. I like I said, I was out working on those shelves, awesome. So I missed the whole red flag period, which red flag periods honestly are entertaining for the first 30 minutes. And then after that, it's just somebody give me an alarm when it started back up again because there's only so much radioactive in last week's race that I can watch.
Something else, dude. Even after the race is going on. Like, the race is happening with the wet weather tires. And there's a couple guys throughout the field that are like wanting to put dries on, put slicks on or whatever. And Jeff Burton's like, no, this track is not ready for slicks. No chance. Whatever. I'm just like, damn, dude, like, what is your deal? Like, why are you so against this? Like, just let it be, dog. You're not in the car. Just let it be. Those are some of the smartest people and most highly paid and intelligent people on pit road. Like, I promise they got it under control down there, Jeff.
I don't know. He seemed a little worried about it, man.
He seemed worried. He was worried to death. I'm like, calm
granted,
down,
I mean,
dude.
I get part of it. If you're a team owner and they want to put you out there on wet weather tires and your driver's never done this before, it's like, well, you might just go out there and cost me $200,000 because of this wet weather package right
but
now.
Jeff has no skin in the game. That's
he
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
have-
That's
Well,
exactly what I'm saying.
His son's out there. He's worried. His son had the best finish that he's had in probably 20 years. He probably saw that, was just like, we need to call this right now.
Exactly.
Somebody look up the stats. Where was Harrison Burton running
before
at the
rain,
moment
yeah.
of rain?
Before the rain, dude.
Where was he running during the rain delay?
The rain
that will
saved,
tell you everything you need to know.
That is a great point. But the rain also saved Harrison Burton because I think he ended up finishing like in the top 10, which
he did.
Good for him. I think that might be his only top 10 finish ever in the Cup Series.
No, it wasn't a top 10. It was an almost top 10. It was one of those Deegan top 10s, you know.
Okay.
He finished in 14th.
Oh, I thought it was better than that. Maybe he was running in like 8th
he was running in the
when
top 10. At some point, he was in like 7th or 8th. I do remember that.
I got you.
But that might have been it, dude. It might have been that he just saw his son sitting there in top 10 position being like, all right, man, we got to call this race right here. This looks real good on the stat sheet.
Someone commented on that post, actually, I think. And if you're looking at it, you might can see it right now, but said like that he did an interview on Sirius and said that like how sad and painful it is to watch Harrison run 30th every week. Do you see the comment
it's right
from a
there.
guy?
He hates watching his son every week. He had an interview with David Mooney last week. Says it's painful to watch. Kind of sad, really. Jeb Burton would have done it better. I agreed with everything until that last sentence.
Same, because that is I do not agree at all about that last part. But one, I don't know if that's true, and I've never seen that interview. But that could have been why he wanted to call it so he could see the 21 up front. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Oh man, that is just hilarious.
Not to get into hack of the week yet, again, obviously, but I did want to break down the McDowell thing for a second. On that restart, this
I'll break
took
it down
me
for you.
This took me back.
Never mind. Go ahead.
This took me right back to a year or so ago when Chastain and Larson lined up on the front row on the overtime restart at Darlington. Larson was in his throwback Tony Stewart car. I said before the green flag, I was like, Chastain is going to go down into this corner and absolutely knock off the gas and wreck everybody. And it happened. And I was like, yesterday, I was like, McDowell is about to go down in this corner and not let off. And I was like, it's going to wreck. And he already said on his interview, like, yeah, I'm not holding back, whatever. I don't remember exactly word for word what he said, but I'm not holding back. And I literally said, I was like, McDowell's about to go in here and cause the biggest wreck of the weekend. And it wasn't the biggest wreck of the weekend, but he went down in there and just pile drives Blaney and screwed the 51's day up as well doing
Dude, I was so mad. I was livid when Blaney, that went down.
Which he's not
getting into my damn hack of the week right now.
He should have slammed on the brake and just let McDowell go off into the wild blue yonder.
It just sucks because no matter what Blaney did, he was going to lose spots because of Michael McDowell. Because of a desperate act to win a race that he had no business winning in the first place. And at the end of the day, that's the part that I'm so frustrated with is Blaney literally ran second to fourth, maybe down into 6th or 7th off a bad restart or that one random issue he had on the backstretch at the beginning of the race. But all race long, he's worked his ass off and done everything he can to be in the top 3 cars in the conversation for a win all day long. And one guy just decides, well, screw it, I'm just going to do everything I can. And he wrecks out this other guy who's been working his ass off running up there naturally all damn day. I was mad as hell. I was like, what are you thinking? I like Michael McDowell, but right there I wanted to punch him in the noggin, man. I was pissed.
Yeah, it's like one of the things I can't believe this just happened, but also can totally I can totally believe this just happened. Like I just saw it come. It was just written on the wall.
Yeah,
going into the corner. Like, it was like this is gonna happen on this restart here.
The writing was on the side of Ryan Blaney's car, and Michael McDowell couldn't quite see it well enough, so he had to get right up there on him.
Yeah. Oh man, I just really.
Yeah, that was just horseshit.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Blaney wasn't more mad than he was. Blaney had a legitimate shot to win that race.
Yeah,
and Michael McDowell just screwed him out of it.
Yeah.
What a dumbass hack of the week move, man. That's where I'm at with that.
What did you think about Bubba going down and parking his car in front of Gragson on pit road?
Made no sense to me.
Made no sense to me either. If Gragson would have went in the corner and did that move, like if somebody would have pulled McDowell on Bubba, yeah, I probably would have just drove my car into the driver's side door, honestly. Like,
yeah.
But the 10 just got down on the bottom and spun out when he got in the paint. Same thing that Keselowski did during the race. Got on the paint and just spun out. And yeah, Bubba hit the wall head on. I totally understand that he's pissed, but it was not like I'm going in the corner to wreck you move, so I'm gonna. It didn't deserve the whole park the car on pit road and all that. I just didn't.
Yeah, it really didn't. That was just an honest. I'm trying my damnedest in this weird ass position that we've all been put in. And I failed, and I'm sorry about that, but this is an uncomfortable situation for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that it took you out too, but I mean that is the definition of a racing deal. Sometimes you're going to wreck, and sometimes that wreck is going to hurt other people's day too.
Yeah.
But that's part of NASCAR. You just got to know that kind of stuff is going to happen to you. And if you're really that mad about it, you're probably more worried about your playoff berth than anything else. And Gragson has nothing to do with the first 13 races that you've ran all year, 12 or 13. So why are you just suddenly mad at him right now for accidentally wrecking underneath you? Like, what are you going to go to the garage next driver's meeting? Hey, no one's allowed to wreck around me in a way that will affect my day. If you were going to wreck around me, please take out only the competitors I am trying to pass. Thank you.
Yeah, I was in the same way. I was just like, this is Bubba Wallace. Like, this is him, right? This doing that. I was like, that is just who he is as a person. I was like, this just checks out.
Every now and then he just makes a really, weird decision.
And then Steve Letarte was like, Steve Letarte, he was even like, that's, probably should watch out with that one. Like, one, stopping on pit road, NASCAR hates. Two, when his guys are out there on pit road and the pit road is wet, like, come on now.
Yeah. That was just, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you had, speaking of people getting called for trying to do things under a wet condition, Ricky Stenhouse tries to make a pass under caution when all the other cars are slowing down, trying to get in that wet stuff down on the bottom of the track. Did you see this?
Yeah, because the tabloids, like, they're running 10 miles an hour under caution. I don't know what the fuck they want you to do. I'm like, I kind of agree in a way. I mean, you can't pass them, but it's like they were going way slow.
I love the fact that he tried it, because if it had worked, he would have looked like a genius.
He
would have looked like a damn genius.
Yeah,
and they've already been known this year to make a bold strategy call that helps them out in the long run.
Yeah,
and that could have absolutely worked.
Great
and I love that they tried it, because it's like, you know what? The worst they could do is send you back to where you're supposed to be, because this is a legitimate move every other week.
Yeah.
And I get where NASCAR's coming from. They're like, hey, it's a wet track. Everybody's uncomfortable right now. Let's not make it worse by having everybody trying to pass each other, because then you're going to have guys going through a puddle at 90 miles an hour under caution and wrecking the hell out of themselves because they're worried about losing their spot on
some of those track. Pictures, obviously it was cool. It was cool to me when they were going down on the front stretch in the water, throwing the water everywhere. Some of those pictures, I think personally, because I saw some people post some of like the guys that were going down there when all the puddles were down there. Yeah. I think some of those pictures will, like, not to be dramatic here, but like go down in history in a way of like they're just like going down there and doing that and like having this race in the wet and like all this stuff.
Yeah, just a total different thing that they've never done before.
Yeah, so I thought the pictures were super cool of them going through the water and it was splashing that water over pit wall and all the things. And then I was dying on the backstretch when they were running down there super low where the road course is.
Yeah,
and then John Hunter just takes it through the dirt or through the grass. Yeah, I was like,
that was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, this is crazy. Like,
and he did it 2 or 3 laps in a row. He just kept doing it because he was like, well, there's guaranteed moisture there. I mean, it makes total sense. Why wouldn't you go down that way?
You want Ramsey Jewell to make an appearance?
Oh, we got a guest on the segment.
Ramsey Jewell.
What's going on, Rams?
Ramsey. She's been on here before, I think.
Yep. Guest appearance number 2. Big fan of the rain tires.
We heard you barking. Yeah. Lindsay just got here, so she was barking a little bit. We could hear her.
Oh, I heard her, yeah.
What'd you say? Oh, Lindsay said go Hamlin.
Oh, God.
Hamlin was hardcore pumped about going on the wet tires. Him and Jeff Burton should have went and ate steak together after the race because they could have G-hauled.
Probably the guy that he was supposed to go and eat with.
Yeah, they could have G-hauled on that the rest of the night. And Denny, unless something dramatically changed in his opinion, I have a feeling his opinion on his podcast is going to be like,
we're not ready.
Yeah.
I mean, he went from running second, third, down to running 24th after the race was over, after the wet weather stuff.
Freaking Parker Kligerman said it twice on the broadcast, but he said, Denny Hamlin's dropping like a rock. And I was like, golly, I love it. I was so see, this is where we're getting into my hack of the week situation here. This is why I was holding off. But
the people have already heard my hack of the week, so go for it, man.
I was so mad at Denny Hamlin yesterday. He was racing Kyle Larson like an absolute asshole. And then Kyle Larson's spotter gets on there and says, you know why he does that? Because you let it happen every week. I couldn't agree more. Kyle Busch lets Denny Hamlin bully him every time he's around him.
Larson?
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said Kyle Busch.
Sorry, Kyle Larson lets Denny Hamlin
Kyle Larson
bully him.
Your hack of the week?
No, Denny Hamlin is for racing like a fucking asshole.
It sounds like Kyle Larson's your hack of the week.
I just was so frustrated about that, too. Speaking of Kyle Busch as well, what an absolute disaster of a day. One of the worst races I've ever seen Kyle Busch enter in my whole entire life. I've been watching Kyle Busch race since I was like 10 years old.
It gets worse when you put it in perspective of it's been an entire month of those races.
Yes.
We have genuinely seen 4 of the worst performances out of Kyle
30
Busch.
place finishes like 4 weeks straight.
Week
or
after week
outrageous.
after week after week. It's unbelievable right now.
What in the world do you think happened to that car under caution?
I have no idea. I still have no idea.
I don't know. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And dude,
I was like, did it break? Did like the toe link just give out?
Did he hit water? I don't know. Did he just say
the
fuck
only thing
this?
I can think of is either it was something random that happened because of the wet weather stuff, because it wasn't just him. Somebody, I think it was Corey LaJoie.
Corey LaJoie spent more time backwards yesterday than forwards. And that gave
it just
Jeff
was
Burton
weird.
more fuel on the fire of we should not be doing this. I don't know if you remember that part of the broadcast as well, but he was like,
I mean, at that point, you just got to argue that they should just take the wet weather tires away.
Exactly.
And screw that.
They should just set them on fire and not put them in the hauler.
You know how much fun I had watching them race those rain tires? I had so much fun because it was something I've never seen before.
Exactly. The whole someone posted about Bristol, New Hampshire, and Iowa having these great races this year. And it's like, well, if we can have these great races here, like there's got to be something in there that we can find in these short tracks. You know what the common denominator is between New Hampshire being wet, Bristol on the wearing out tires, and Iowa with the repave and going so fast? You know what the common denominator is between those 3 races?
You had no idea what was going to happen.
You had no grip.
And that, yeah.
You had no grip and the tires wore out.
Yeah. And you genuinely had no idea what was going to happen.
You had no idea what was going to happen. And that is what made those races awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. If Christopher Bell goes out and wins New Hampshire yesterday and it never rained, it would be a boring race. It would be probably 30% on the Jeff Gluck pole. No one would have had fun. It would have been a parade lap the entire time. But because it was low grip and because it was difficult to do, even though Christopher Bell still ended up winning, it was a fun race to watch.
Yeah, and Christopher Bell's the GOAT at New Hampshire.
4 for 4 in Xfinity is just a mind-boggling stat.
That is a mind-boggling
unbelievable. Stat. I can't believe somebody's actually accomplished that feat of
He's the only
racecraft.
One. He's the only one.
That's the first time I've ever seen a negative number on a bet line for a winner. Ever in my entire life. Even Kyle Busch in the Truck Series only got as low as plus 100.
100. I thought
So
that
you
was
could double
probably
your
as
money.
low
You
as it
couldn't
would
even
go.
double your money on
Yeah.
Christopher Bell if you bet him for the win on the Xfinity Series. And he gets it.
I never thought, and granted, I've only been doing the NASCAR betting since the beginning of year before last, so I'm not like a seasoned vet or anything. But I never, ever would have thought that a winning bet would be a winner bet would be minus money. I just never would have thought.
Yeah.
Never
It
would
was
have thought that.
just mind-blowing, dude.
But they were right. I mean, they were right.
Yeah.
And they almost
and that just means
weren't
it's going
right.
to be worse next
time. Yeah, and they almost weren't right. I mean, dude, somebody else we can talk about here. How many times can Sheldon Creed get out of a race car and just be like, it is what it is?
I heard him talking the other day when they asked him what it felt like to finish second like 4 times this year, or like 7 times in the Xfinity Series. What was like to finish second? He's like, well, I think it means we're doing pretty dang good. I know some people look down on that, and I just look at it like, well, we're right there every day, and it's like, dude, you're right there, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
It's like, how excited can you be about finishing second 7 times? After the first couple, though, the joy of it kind of goes away, and you're just finishing second.
He has 10 second-place finishes, but the problem is, to me, he shoots himself in the foot. Like, when he went in the corner and got into Custer on that coming to that last lap to get Bell, when they went 3 wide for the white flag, went like 3 wide across the start-finish line. You have to know. You have to get away. Because if Custer gets back to you, he is going to give you the bumper. And you are not going to win the race. And that is exactly what happened. Goes into the corner, leading, Custer bumps him, Bell passes.
Yep.
You can't. That's just a dumb move. That's a Michael McDowell low percentage move, as he said. Like, you better.
Yeah, but
if you're going to bump a guy, you got to get away.
And you've been racing these guys for a good few years. All of those guys you have been around multiple times. I mean, Bell maybe the least amount out of all of them because he's up in the Cup Series now.
But him and Custer,
but still,
they've been
Custer,
racing
you're
together
around him
a while.
All the time. You're around all these other guys that keep on moving you out of the way or doing stuff, and you're still making those bad low percentage moves. I mean, eventually you do have to learn, and your experience has to start meaning something on the racetrack. At this point, if somebody told me, well, he's a very experienced driver, it's like, well, yeah, he's experienced second place or worse in his entire career. He's never experienced first.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know about his experience. It's not really worth much until you get those wins.
Yeah, no one's calling him for a Cup ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, back in the day, he couldn't even find a sponsor, which I get that. That's difficult. But then he has somebody come up to him and says, I want to give you $10,000 to sponsor your car. And he says, Marcus, I am worth more than $10,000. And you're going out there and proving every day that might not be the case.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about somebody who talks like Tarzan, races like Jane? I think Sheldon Creed, Mr. Whoville himself, that's exactly who I think.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, dude. He just doesn't. I don't know what it is, but he does not.
Know. He doesn't do it for me.
He should go race back for RCR because they don't like winning.
Take him back.
They don't like winning at RCR in the Cup Series.
Oh, that's a good point, man. Well, whenever Kyle Busch finds his way out of his contract at the end of the year, he might just have a job.
Yeah, I think RCR is completely done with Sheldon Creed, but I've said it on here to you. I said it to some people yesterday that was texting about the race. Like they're just okay with being mediocre at RCR. Like they're okay with the no winning culture at RCR, and that's just fine.
I just hate it. I saw a tweet yesterday that I thought was just a really well worded statement about Kyle Busch's year, and I think it was Jeff Gluck. Said, man, I can't imagine being Kyle Busch at 39, knowing I just spent one of my few remaining prime racing career years racing for RCR and finishing in 30th place 4 weekends in a row and sitting this low in the driver's standings with no chance in sight of a win anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a great way to put it. Like, he moved out of Joe Gibbs and dropped like a rock and is basically Mr. Irrelevant right now.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for everything he's always done, there'd be no talk.
Yeah, I just you just saw it coming, really. Even with the 3 wins last year, I know one of those was under caution at Talladega, which that's a win in the stat book. It doesn't matter. He went out there at California and Gateway and dominated those races last year and deserved those wins. But when when we all saw that he was going to RCR, another one of the things, like the writing was just kind of on the wall. Like, you just kind of saw this coming, you know? Like, they just don't. RCR just don't. I don't know what it is they don't have, but they don't have it.
They do not.
I mean,
the closest thing to ever having it was 3 wins by Tyler Reddick.
And then Tyler Reddick skipped town faster than anything I've ever seen.
Because I think Tyler Reddick saw what was going on, and he said the only reason this car won was because we got lucky a few times. But this ain't working. I'm leaving. I'm out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's like, they're the longer Austin Dillon is in the car, they are just okay with not winning.
Yeah. It's a sad fact. But Austin's not helping them out any. They're not helping themselves out any. The only thing that I've heard from anyone industry-wide from RCR is when Richard Childress himself talks about wanting to beat the crap out of Ricky Stenhouse. That is the only public anything I've seen stated by anyone there.
Yeah.
That's been put out to like the general broader public. Maybe something's been on Twitter I just may have missed. But that's the only thing I've seen on the broadcast from anyone at that team talking about what do they have to say about how poorly they've performed with one of the greatest race car drivers that have ever sat in a NASCAR Cup Series car.
Tough pill to swallow.
Explain that to me. Explain that to me. I just don't think you can.
Yeah, it's messed up, and it is what it is. But I loved yesterday when my mom texted. I think it was me and you, or I think it was me and you, or me and Megan, or me, you, and Megan. I don't remember. But she's like, I hear y'all talking about RCR on the podcast. Like, I thought RCR was the place, and I was like, yeah, in the Earnhardt and Harvick days, RCR was the place.
Yeah, but that's been about 2 decades.
That has not been a thing since 2014, when he went to Stewart Haas.
Yeah.
And they were already on the downhill slide at the end of Harvick's stint there.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like any other team. It's only good until you're not good anymore. And a lot of it has to do with just inner workings at the team. But, I mean, a great modern example is watching what happened with SHR. All of a sudden, it's starting to seem more and more like Tony was the one that really just wanted to be out, which we all knew that was the case when he started going over to drag racing and was racing there. He got married there. All of his focus is there, and you could kind of see that he was a lot less interested, but you didn't know fully the extent of his disinterest.
Yeah.
Until now, all of a sudden, he's pulling out. 3 of those cars are going away. Only 1 is going to be remaining. Who knows how good it's even going to be? And Tony's just said, sayonara. And we've been watching for the last 2 years how that mental decline, or how that mental feeling of not having your owner in it anymore caused that team to just tank. So as soon as you stop caring about winning stops happening. So you're seeing the modern version of that play. Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it too. But yeah, you could see that decline happening here once again. It's like you've already seen it happen once in the past. Now we're getting to watch it again. It's just like, when are they going to learn?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to win at this series, you can't just expect to get wins. You have to want it so bad it's the only thing you think about.
Yeah, dude. And there was a time here just a few short years ago that RCR's 2 full-time drivers in the Cup Series was Daniel Hemrick and Austin Dillon.
Yeah. Think about it.
You know? I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Think about it. Oh,
anyways, coming up this week, Nashville, Tennessee, a.k.a. Lebanon, Tennessee.
A.k.a. the hottest race
in America.
Race of the
year. It'll be the hottest race of the year. It's supposed to be, I I looked, supposed to be 90 degrees, and I want to say there's a chance of rain. Just to tack it on there.
Oh my God! And it's been, I can speak to it.
94 degrees and 45% chance of rain in Nashville, Tennessee. Saturday, let me just hit you with this. Friday for the truck race, 92 degrees. Saturday for the Xfinity race, 97 degrees. Sunday for the Cup race, 94 degrees, 45% chance of rain.
Dude, that's just unbearably hot.
And we're going to race this race in the middle of the afternoon when it gets the hottest part of the day.
Truck Series at 7 p.m. is a great start time. I don't know why we're not doing that for every single one of these cars or every single one of these races.
Yeah.
Xfinity Series is going to start at 4 in the afternoon. Like,
the hottest part, literally the hottest part of the day.
You have to get there during the hottest part of the day, and then you got to be there during the hottest part of the day. And then the Cup race is going to start even earlier, so it's not even to the hottest part of the day yet. Get in those damn stands. There is a reason that neither of us are going to that race, and that is exactly it.
I've said it on here last year. We were sitting there. I was like, dude, I just am not. I love the atmosphere of a race, and I love drinking beer and hanging out with my friends, and we're eating food, and like it was a great time. But I am tired of being hot.
Yeah,
and it is just miserably
and granted,
hot.
We have a worse experience with it these days than before. I mean, we have to be at these kind of events every single week.
Yeah, at these.
I just can't do it. We're coming off of a 3-day weekend.
When
one of them is going to be a Rock the Country show,
and
I don't think I can physically take it.
Yeah, it's
like
rough.
If this was a night race,
dude.
I would be there. If this was a night race, I would absolutely be there. I just cannot justify going out there and putting myself in that kind of a position. Like by the end of this next weekend, because of these 3 shows that we have one show in Terre Haute, Indiana. It's going to be an outdoor show. Poplar Bluff, Missouri for a Rock the Country festival. Outdoor show, obviously, and it's
devil's
brutal.
Asshole there.
And then we go to Marksville, Louisiana, and I think that one's inside. But still, we're already 2 shows in, got to work a whole nother day. And then just come home and go right back into that heat. Dude, I don't think my body can take it. I think I would actually have a chance of a full-blown bad heat stroke and possibly just passing away right there at the racetrack.
I mean, great place to pass away, but I just don't want that to happen for any of us.
Yeah, so I'm just going to have to enjoy this race from the comfort of my own bedroom about 45, 50 miles away from the racetrack.
And about 45 degrees cooler in your house.
Yeah, that's just sad. I just can't believe I'm having to say that. But especially if it rains in the middle of that day. Just yesterday, it rained while we were flipping our bedroom. And I went back outside after the sun came back out, and it was like my breath got taken away. It was so hot and humid. I mean, it was like getting into a convection oven.
Yep.
I can't imagine going up in those stands and sitting in that.
I've said this before, but like at Nashville, I've been to a good bunch of races at a good bunch of different tracks. There is nothing hotter than this Nashville race. It's just there's nothing hotter than the Nashville race.
I don't know why.
It's the only
I can't figure it out, but I agree.
Even yesterday, because I was thinking about my quote here, walking across the parking lot at the grocery store, and it's just hotter than shit yesterday, you know. And I'm like, you know, I'm sitting there on the concrete, or I'm walking across the asphalt there, and it's like, it's hotter than hell, but like I'm not like feeling that heat off the concrete, you know. Something about this race. Now, me and Caleb have been to these races all 3 years they've been in Nashville.
Yeah. And one time I went to all 3 of the races that they had that weekend.
Yeah.
So it's not that I haven't. It's not that I can't do it. It's that I won't do it anymore.
Yeah. We've hit up 1, 2. It's like out of the 9 races they've had, we've been at like 6 or 7 of the 3 top tier series, whatever it is. Something about Nashville. It doesn't matter if you're in the parking lot in the middle of that racetrack. If you're walking around turns 3 and 4 to get to the tunnel, the asphalt is so hot there. You can feel the heat. You feel the heat from the sun coming down this way. The asphalt heat is coming up your legs.
Yes.
And it makes you soaking wet with sweat. It is the hottest shit I've ever endured, and I hate it for everybody that has to work that weekend and all 3 of those days.
Yeah.
And security guards standing out there and all of that. I feel for you.
I can't like
but
speak
I won't be
to
there.
the end. Yeah. dude, I can't speak for the inside of the track because you've gone down there with pit passes. I haven't.
Yeah.
Um,
Just as
but
hot and brutal. And
as
it
a
rained the year we
fan-
were down there, and they evacuated everybody twice.
yeah. So that was a shit show in and of itself.
And that's the year I told my dad, I was like, dude, are you ready to go? And he's like, I thought you'd never ask. We left the track, went to Cinco, drank margaritas, and watched the end of the race on the TV.
Yeah. God. But yeah, as a fan going, not as an industry person, not as somebody with pit passes, just a regular ticket buying, gonna sit in the top of the grandstands fan. I hate to say it, but there's just not a lot of appeal about the Nashville race simply because even the stuff they set up outside is unshaded. It's all outdoor stuff. There's not a whole lot of great spots to like sit down and take a break. Pretty much the only chance you get to sit down at the Nashville race is once you find your way to your seat.
Yeah, it's
That is
the
the
same
only
way.
way.
Same way on the inside. You know, we were talking about like Talladega with that kind of stuff there, and these other racetracks with places you can go and do and see. Nashville has this thing set up. Only thing that I remember they have is this tent that's like a bar that Tootsie sponsors naturally. Everybody and their brother is inside this tent, so you can't even get in there or get a spot to sit or anything because it's so hot. Everybody's under this tent. And then the other tent they got like some cornhole games going on. And they got a band up there playing the shittiest cover songs you've ever heard in your life on a stage that is not big enough. Like the bass player and the keyboard player could not fit on the stage. They were on the grass in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah,
so, I don't want
ridiculous.
people to think that going to the Nashville race isn't worth it for the racing itself. It's honestly a lot of fun to go there and watch the race. It's kind of like a mile and a half, but you can see everything even from the lower side of the stand. Actually watching a race there, not bad. Being there for a race in late June
in aluminum
Nashville,
stands.
in aluminum stands, in the heat, like the sun does not go down behind the stands until about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And by that point, the race is almost over, so you just have to bake in the sun. Now, if this race started at 6 like it did last year, it's still kind of miserable for the first stage and a half, but it at least calms down after a while, and it gets a little bit more bearable. But with the 2:30 start time, I just can't justify showing up and risking having a heat stroke because that's all you're doing is just risking a damn heat stroke to go there. And I would not be surprised if this is the first Ally 400 that doesn't sell out. Because I think people are starting to get to the point where we are, and I know we're not the only ones, where it's just like, I can't do this, man. I cannot. I don't want to. I do not want to.
I've talked to other people in the music industry that I've written with. Everybody's like, dude, you been to the Nashville track? That's like always the conversation, you know, when you talk about NASCAR in Nashville. And there's tons of people that have been. And a lot of those people have the same opinions we do. Like, it is just too hot. Like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. But I mean, it just is what it is. I mean,
just be safe and drink water. You can't bring your own
water.
though. You got to pay for it. So
bring a goddamn hat and wear it forwards, or bring a cowboy hat or something that shades you. I mean, just there's nothing to shade you on that entire course. The moment you leave your canopy in the parking lot, bring a damn hat.
I got to say this, and I got to say it because I had the conversation with Allison last year because Allison had never been in the pits and all that until last year at the
Dega.
No, we went into the pits in Nashville too. Allison went to the pits in Nashville because her pass.
Did we go down to the?
Her pass was better than ours because Brandon got her the pass with the.
Never mind, I have
thing.
been down in the pits there. Wow.
Yeah. So
we've just done too many things.
I had to tell Allison because she had never been down there. You go to a NASCAR race anywhere else in the United States where there's a NASCAR race. People are dressed for comfort. There's shorts, tennis shoes. if it's in a cold time, people are wearing like joggers, a sweatshirt with your favorite driver. You know, stuff like that. Like that's like definitely the going vibe because you're standing up. And even if it's not the hottest thing in the world, you're still standing up. You're on your feet. You know, got your tennis shoes, your comfort, your clothes. You're going to be most comfortable in. You know, and especially when it's hot as hell. I told Allison because I had seen it the year prior. You know, back you saying cowboy hats what made me bring this up. But I told Allison I was like, when you go back here, this is the only place in the NASCAR series where you're going to see people back here that are like artists or think they are artists, and they are going to be dressed in a collared shirt, jeans, boots, a cowboy hat. Some of them be wearing a long sleeve shirt. Like, it is the most cringeworthy thing you've ever seen. And I've made tweets about this, about how Nashville, all these artists, we're all artists. We all hang out with artists, all the things. But, like, it's okay. It's like the people in Key West that still wear skinny jeans and their black shirts. It's like,
it's
what
okay, are you doing, man?
To wear your shorts and your tennis shoes.
Yeah,
to this
who are you
event.
trying to impress in this event full of people that, one, can't do anything for you in music, and two, if they can, they probably don't look like you right now.
Oh, man, it is my favorite. It is top tier entertainment to see that at Nashville.
I heard Scott Borchetta owns a car.
Yeah.
We should go try to find out which one is his.
Yeah.
I need to start walking around the Cup Series garage asking where Scott Borchetta's car is.
Yeah.
Like,
and realize
probably
you're in the
down
wrong
on Music
garage.
Row.
Yeah.
You're a day late and $1 short, man. He was here yesterday.
Exactly. That's one of my favorite things about it. Like that, it's just like if you took like the guys on Broadway and put them on pit road, they're still wearing the same clothes.
Yeah, it's okay to be a rookie at a NASCAR race, but don't wear your yellow bumper stickers.
Yeah.
But that's so funny. Speaking towards the actual race, though, what are your predictions? Who do you think is going to do well? I already know Kyle Larson's going to do great. He always does great at this racetrack, period.
The thing
he's going to be the
is-
one to beat him, and Chastain, I feel like, are always your two favorites in Nashville when you get there.
We've had 3 races, and we've had 3 different winners at every one of them. Last year, what I remember the most about last year is Tyler Reddick. He had a tire fell off or something. Reddick dominated that race. Tire falls off, and then that lets Chastain take over the lead and become the winner. So I would say you got to probably look at Reddick too in this race, just based off last year. Now the first year they came in 21, which that was with the other car, so it's not even the same now. Kyle Larson led like every lap but the pit stops. The second year it rained twice. There was 2 rain delays. Chase Elliott ends up with the win. There was so much going on. I really don't even remember much about that race other than it being so hot and muggy and wet that we left and went and drank margaritas and Chase Elliott won. And then last year, I remember Reddick kicking ass, having the pit road problem, and Chastain winning. So if you took Chastain, Larson, Reddick, for some reason, because it's a concrete track and it's only a little bit over a mile, I think you throw in those Fords as well. I could
definitely see that this year.
Yeah, I could totally see Blaney's and Logano's and Keselowski, Buscher. Just these concrete tracks that are about a mile long or shorter, the Fords are just fast as hell. So,
yeah. I completely agree with that.
You talk about like you got a short track that races like an intermediate, kind of like they said at Iowa kind of was. This is not a short track by any means, but it's like a short track that it's not a short. It's not a short track, but it kind of feels like a short track, a mile long track that races like an intermediate. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I could see Blaney going out and just dominating, honestly, as well.
And Blaney usually does fairly okay at Nashville. He just never finishes the race at Nashville.
Yeah.
Wild stat, there was not a single Ford driver in the top 10 of last year's Nashville race.
I don't think that'll be the case this year. I think that'll be different.
And you know who the best Ford in the field was at 11th place? Brad Keselowski.
Yeah. I think Fords are going to be all right this weekend.
And the third best Ford driver was Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
So this might be an RFK kind of weekend right there. For
Blaney
all the
got
Fords,
on
they
that
were
restart and hit the wall head on right in front of us. You remember
that? He lost brakes and hit the wall head on right in front of us.
Yeah. Whatever.
That one year.
Was that?
Or are you talking last year? If you're talking last year, I don't remember exactly what happened there. I just remember him not finishing the race.
It was on a restart and hit the wall head on, and up until he hit at Daytona, it was like G-forces wise one of the hardest hits he'd ever taken.
Oh, yeah, because he took the spin down to the inside wall and hit the inside wall.
Yep.
At the exit of pit road. Yeah.
He lost brakes in like a qualifying or something and hit the wall or something like that.
No, I was thinking of the race, the first one we went to in Nashville. Whenever he was on a restart, took off and just lost brakes and just hit the outside wall in turn 1, and got taken out of the race. And it was like stage 1; he was out of it. And I was just
Maybe
like, well, I'm ready to go home.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Either way, though, I think any of those Ford guys will be fine. Reddick, Chastain, Larson.
Yeah,
I'd go Reddick, Chastain, Larson, and 2 Fords. Pick your poison with which 2 you want to go with.
I completely agree. And if it's going to be 2 different, I would say the 3 that we've named: Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Blaney are your 3 to watch out for.
Yeah,
I don't see a single other Ford that's been consistent enough at the front to say I can confidently say yes, go with them.
Yeah.
But we'll see, man.
So there we go.
Looking forward to it.
There's our picks. Nashville.
Yeah. Brandy, look them up. Make sure you get them in your
Lebanon.
garage. But
we've already talked about hack of the weeks. We covered it all. We covered a lot.
I think we did. Yeah. We did. We kind of hop, skipped, and jumped around here, but we managed to make it happen. So
yeah, that's all that matters.
Hell yeah. Well, good deal, y'all. We
Alrighty.
appreciate y'all listening and tuning in every week. We really have fun making this, so we're glad to hear people having positive reactions here and there, and we love having people text us and ask us our opinions about stuff. So keep hitting us up, keep letting us know, and Dawson will keep hating these. We'll keep hating these rain races because he wants the rut weather tires on too soon. But
indeed,
either way, but you can. Sorry, my phone started ringing right there at the very end.
Hit us up on socials. Raised Rowdy Racing, Raised Rowdy Nikki T, Matt Burrell. I'm Dawson Edwards Music under everything.
And I am Caleb Conrady. You can find me everywhere except for at the Nashville race this weekend. You will not find me there. I will let you know what I'm doing if you care to know. But other than that, y'all, thanks for listening. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good week.
Y'all.